Well, I like that a lot better than I like the 1 for 18 start in our previous outing. So I think we could see we spent a little time trying to clean up that side of the ball. Again, got a lot of respect for King and Monmouth. They're a team that, in watching their 2 games, really guarded. And I thought our start got them a little bit on their heels. And Terence was obviously on a different planet. I think he showed why he's one of the best players in the country. First stat I always look for with him is fouls drawn, and 10 of them is a pretty big number. But the ball had tremendous energy tonight, and it's something that we have not had. And it doesn't have to be perfect execution when you have energy. And we popped the ball around. I think 1 missed 2-point field goal in the first half. That's pretty good. So, yeah, we got better on that side. I thought, obviously, Jaden Epps, they just said was our 7th freshman since I've been here to have a 20-point game. That's pretty good. And we know all you guys that followed him in his high school ranks know he was an elite scorer, and he did that pretty easy. That was pretty effortless for him. I loved the stretch in the first half between Dane and Sky in ball screens. Just an unbelievable segment of execution, of a freshman making the right reads. Dane's an elite finisher, and he finished those plays. So that was big progress. Sky in high school went and finished those plays because of his athleticism and his strength, and his strength got him those plays, and his decision making, basketball IQ made the right pocket passes. So interesting night, for Coleman. I put him back in the first half with 2. It's really hard to play when you don't get in that rhythm. We're going to need to play him at times, maybe with 2 fouls. So I threw him back in there, trying to get him, trying to earn a little trust, and we talked about that. But we didn't help Coleman tonight, and we still got to get better. We stood and watched when he's such a trigger for us on the offensive end, and we didn't put him in some very good positions. We didn't cut enough, but we'll continue to work on that. But all in all, we got better in different segments, all of these 3 games, and now on Friday night we get a different challenge, and playing one of the elite events in college basketball this year with all ranked teams and all really good players and really good coaches.
Scott.
I mean, you kept coaching, kept correcting as that game went on. Just how important is it to do maybe that in those moments, and what's kind of a big lead there?
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm probably a bad coach in games like that, and because I'm not the one that just sit back and prop my feet up and enjoy it. I think every moment's a teaching, a teaching moment, and I want the game played the right way, and you've got to be smart in there. Our tempo changed, obviously. We didn't trap in the second half, but you've still got to do the things the right way. And we got some new guys, and they got to continue to learn and grow. And so, it's the way I've always done it. And sometimes in games like that, human nature is just to relax, and I don't do that very well.
Doug.
Coach, it was evident from this game you have multiple players who can grab a rebound and go. Can you just talk about what that does as far as creating scoring opportunities and putting pressure on the defense?
Yeah, and I think that's that was a thing that happened. At some point with Io, Io's started figuring out triple doubles were a pretty cool thing to have. So let me go defensive rebound, and he was also first or second in the country that year and points in transition. And it's really hard to go. And if we get guys out and running and pitching ahead, if Terence Shannon gets a rebound and get RJ running or Sky running or whoever's in, they're going to get shots. And we've practiced that all summer, so it's in fall. So it's a big piece of what we want to do. We've got to probably not have Dane do it a whole lot, but everybody else is capable.
Joey.
Brad, with your freshmen, what are the biggest growth points or just comfort points that you've seen in these first 3 games? And knowing that you had Vegas coming into this stretch, was there anything you were specifically looking for out of them in terms of comfort or just finding their way?
Yeah, I think that's just it. Just finding a little comfort. I mean, it's so different putting a uniform on and playing in front of fans, and it's so different when the other coach scouts, and you're still trying to get good at what you do. And they're going to learn really quick now that mistakes, you get out. You're coming out. And, we let them play through some of these things in some of these games. But to be great people, we've got to really minimize those mistakes. And there's a thing called game slippage. And you can cover stuff in practice, and you can cover it, and you get it right, and all of a sudden the flow of the game gets going. And veterans don't make those mistakes a lot of times. We're getting better at those, but again, in these type of games, it's something we got to make sure we minimize.
Jeremy.
Brad, I think it's fair to say Terence has the ball in his hands a little bit more with you guys than he did at his previous stop. What gave you the confidence to do that with him, and what have you seen from him being able to do that? What's it mean for you guys?
Yeah, it's really easy. I see him in the gym working every day. I mean, he's a relentless worker. And, with that, we've got to keep helping him grow in his decision-making. I mean, he made some nice passes tonight that maybe even, in our secret scrimmage he wasn't making. He's just growing there. And so, we keep telling him, good players make themselves better, and he's a really good player. Now become a great one, make your teammates better. But he works so hard. He works on every aspect. Before the game today, he's in oven, and he's working on dribble moves, and he's just it's just who he is. That's how he's wired. So I got a lot of confidence in that. And when guys work, I usually let them try to put it into play in a game.
Mark in the way back.
Coach, in the opening statement, you talked about the ball energy and the ball movement going around. That was very evident tonight. How quickly is this team gelling, and how much more improvement would you like to see out of your team going forward? Yeah,
nights like tonight help. They help that. And I put a saying on the board tonight, be a great teammate. And, we've still got to get to the point where we're vocal, telling a teammate, great pass, pointing at him, or telling a teammate, I've got help side, I've got your back. And, all of those things are what I know we can grow to. We're not there yet, but I know we're gaining on that. So still got a steep hill to climb and a lot of growth. I don't think we're anywhere close to our ceiling. We're a long way from that, but I love the way this team's playing, and I love the way this team interacts, and their charisma and their swagger, and so we're getting there.
Derek.
It's kind of a rocky start for Jaden and Sky in the opener. How far have they come now versus then? I know it's only 3 games, but can you see out there more comfort, just the value of having games under their belt?
Yeah, I didn't know where to play him, Derek. I mean, it's that sounds cliche or maybe poor. I mean, I had to feel what they could do and where they were at, and I've gained a ton of confidence in Sky with the ball, and his ability, and he's sitting out there. He came up to me twice tonight. He said, "Coach, let's run this." Okay. I mean, thinking it and understanding it, and that's tremendous maturity. And on the other side, we've taken Jaden off of it a little bit. Jaden hasn't played on the ball as much in practice. I'm going to keep Jaden and on the scout team for second group for forever, because he's gotten going doing that. He's getting reps. It's not where he's subbed out. He's in all the time. But his understanding is getting better, and I'm excited about those 2 guys, man, and Sincere and Ty, all of them. I've said this freshman group's mature.
Doug?
Coach, with so many young players, is transition defense one of those things that's going to take a little bit of time? It seemed like it was a little bit hot and cold tonight. Started out kind of rough early, but what did you see from the transition defense?
Well, they set up at a press break that was a little off kilter than what we've had seen or thought they would do, and we did a very poor job of just getting matched up. King played the position obviously pretty well at North Carolina in the day, and but they didn't dribble it. I mean, they just passed it. We had a hard time just getting matched up. Yeah, we forced a few turnovers, but our rules are no fouls, no threes, and no layups, and force them into hard twos. We did that, which got our tempo going, but yeah, we still even after the fact we quit trapping, we gave up baskets in transition.
Scott?
With your press, just early, did you turn up the heat a little bit more than you had previous in the last 2 games?
No, one of the things we tried to do was just make it very difficult. They're a one ball handler team. They have one primary handler, and all we tried to do was shade him, and make his night very, very uncomfortable. And teams that have one handler, we're going to continue to do that. We're going to make those guys work, and hopefully in the second half or some point in the end of the first half, they become tired and fatigued, and then if you got to go run a set or get an action, you got to get the ball back, and then that's the disruption. That's the 17, 16 on a shot clock where that plays into our benefit.
Jeremy?
Understanding you played Kansas in a scrimmage, how eager are you to see what your team is made of this weekend?
Yeah, because I think they're pretty good. They'll pose some different challenges. Jaquez is elite offensively. He just can score it. Tiger's taking a ton of shots. He's turned into a very good offensive threat. I don't know their personnel a whole lot because I haven't looked at them yet. But yeah, I mean, it's Big Ten play. I mean, it's you see, and I use the term real guys, and I think everybody's in the top 20 or top 25 or whatever, and I would be very remiss if I didn't say this. That's an unbelievable tragedy of Virginia today, and their game got canceled, and it affected an athletic department. It's crazy what the thought of that in our society. And so, my thoughts, our thoughts and prayers are with Tony and his team who lost a game tonight and it was canceled with Northern Iowa. And I'm sure everybody knew those athletes, those young men, and I had to say that. And obviously, we've all got heavy hearts, and we'll see them in Vegas, but they're a heck of a basketball team as well. So, but lost a game tonight that was postponed. But anyway, be a great event. I mean, it's a great event, great coaches, great players, and it's fun to participate in those.
Brad, you mentioned putting Coleman back out there with 2 fouls. We just haven't seen that. A lot of you 2-foul participation. Is that something that at all has changed with this team? Is your philosophy the same? And then as a side, does Luke's injury and being down one more rotation player alter any thoughts of that at all?
All the above. And Coleman's that good, and he's that valuable. Coleman is a real trigger for us on both ends of the court. And, let's not forget, I thought he was one of the outstanding defenders in the Big Ten last year. He still is that. He understands everything we're doing. And I know that, unfortunately, it's going to happen. He's going to pick up some fouls. But I've got to also be able to trust him, and for the most part I do, and I needed to see that tonight.
Derek?
How does Terence compare to Io in terms of speed on the break?
Man, you're going to get me in trouble one way or the other, and however they're similar. I think that they're every bit as equally fast. I mean, Iowa was so just, elite. I think that Terence got a chance to accomplish everything that Io did in terms of nationally being one of the top players in transition, and Io probably doesn't pull up and shoot it as well as Terence does in transition, but we're also talking about a guy who's starting for the Bulls. I mean, he's pretty good, but Terence is definitely in that. He's right there.
Matt.
On that level, Brad, did you get a sense tonight of guys like Terrence and Jaden and even Sky that the game slows down for them even in that controlled chaos of transition?
A little bit. Yeah, I think we're all getting there. That's the advantage of games. I think we're all getting there. The game's always been really slow for Coleman. Coleman's just different. Coleman's elite when it comes to that. I think, we're still seeing a little bit of I think we got rid of the jitters. I think we got rid of the uneasiness and the just then it becomes about execution, and so we're all getting there.
Doug.
Coach, you talked about Jaden Epps having to take open shots, and he's taking open shots. How important is his 3-point shooting to your team and to your offense?
Jaden scoring period's important to us. I mean, because it's what he does. He's very, very gifted. I mean, I say this all the time. Every time he shoots it, I think the ball's going in. No matter if it's a layup, he's a great layup maker. He's got that real high release on his layups, and he puts it above the square, so it's hard to block. When he gets open, he's going to make it, and it's just. He's a gifted scorer, and we're going to continue to need that. And I love it right now coming off the bench with he and Dane. And then Ty gives you, a defensive stalwart, and then you've got Sincere, kind of the same thing. And nobody wants to talk about Sincere shooting, but he's making a lot of balls as well.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Thank you, everybody. Derek, you're going to send out a note about Wednesday availability before the Vegas tournament? Okay, thank you.